Oh yes, we're back. Oh boy, this is going to be a little bit out of order, but before we get to that, this isn't the main podcast for the week. This is a point 5. This news was just too big to wait another week, considering we already recorded the other podcast, which the members get 2 days early and it drops on Saturday. This is actually being recorded after the main show, but is dropping before the main show because of the sheer scope of the news. Now, of course,
the multiverse,
the multiverse of news here. So thank you everybody for joining us for this show. Of course, if you're a member, make sure you guys are checking the community tab. There's videos coming at you this weekend. We got a big topic and discussion of video games and stuff that Mitch and I did in regards to Bethesda and all that. But of course, we're here for the main podcast. That's what you're here for, the big show. So we're just going to get into that right after the introductions. Of course, I'm Armin. Just find me on PlayStation. I'm going to be sinking quite a few hours this weekend into Call of Duty and Star Wars Squadron, I think. I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter.
It's called Squadrons.
Right,
Rogue Squadron for the GameCube.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. I'll be playing Rogue Squadron for the GameCube. That is a really good game.
I enjoy that game.
Yeah. But of course, that's where you'll find me. But I am joined, as always, by Mitch.
What's up? You can find Mitch692. And this weekend, I'm going to be trying to get the platinum for Destiny 2.
Ooh.
After 3 years, I'm going for that
Damn,
platinum.
dedication right there. Damn. And we are joined by Tristan.
Hey guys, you can catch it. It's Jake Chance, and it's been, I don't know, years since there was a point 5 podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while. A lot of Spider-Man.
Oh,
things
we should have called it Red and Blue.
Oh, Mr. Dude, no, I'll make the thumbnail half red, half blue.
Well, fun fact, there is Scarlet Witch and Electro on it, so it's kind of a little hidden Easter egg there.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's a deep cut right there, Jesus. Ooh. You know what? For members of the community tab, I'm gonna make red and blue available so you guys can hear what we're talking about. That is a deep cut for you guys. But let's get into our first topic. Speaking of, it's been years since we've talked about it. We never thought we would have to talk about the Amazing Spider-Man again, but lo and behold, we're talking about it again because out of nowhere we get the big news: Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro to Spider-Man 3.
Yep. Now, we don't know if this is the TASM-2 version or if it's like a J.K. Simmons situation where it's the same actor playing the same character.
Well, totally different personality-wise.
Yeah, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and stab in the dark. I'm just going to say it's clearly the TASM-2 one, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
It's got to be.
Yep. And that puts us in an interesting position because, just think of that then, right? Like, we're making retroactively TASM-2 canon to the MCU, which that's a pretty big, step. That's kind of huge.
The MCU Multiverse.
Uh-huh.
Is the little caveat.
Yep.
Oh, dang. That means that people are going to be complaining, saying, if you could bring Electro, why can't you bring Andrew Garfield back, too?
Oh, of course.
They're saying that now.
Yeah.
People don't want it now. No.
Which, give it time and that could happen, because this is clearly cracking the door to that. And again, we've seen recently with the whole, Marvel Studios and Sony working on more than likely Spider-Woman. It's still not confirmed, but it definitely is Spider-Woman with Olivia Wilde directing. And we kind of all suspected when they went back to the drawing board for the contracts with Spider-Man, more was worked out. And whatever, blood was shed on Kevin Feige's part to add TASM and Morbius as a side MCU edition and now directly adding Electro. He's really trying to keep Spider-Man in the family and not let it go. He's working hard on this.
He's probably saying, what's the price for getting my champion trio?
Yeah.
On the big screen.
Oh.
Yeah. It's such a weird situation. The initial reaction was, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry, YouTube. Don't kill me.
No. That's the reaction. That's the same reaction I had.
It's just not like this. Please, let's not do this. I don't want it. And you kind of think about it a little bit. And you're like, well, it's been a few years since TASM-2.
Yeah.
It ended. It didn't end. It had a cliffhanger. Like it was done. It was killed prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take that universe in whatever direction you want.
Yep.
Just don't bring back that version of the Rhino. No one needs that.
I mean, no.
They could
some things are best left.
I mean,
Rhino.
Don't bring that back, and do not bring back Goblin AIDS or whatever the hell he was, because, geez, that was... No.
Well, you can, because you can do so much character development. Like, you can just... The whole Rhino bit, you can just go, oh, yeah, he died in that explosion.
True.
Spider-Man out.
Oh, just write them off like that?
Yeah, like, you could really turn Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man into something completely different.
You could.
Like, Gwen died in that movie. The end of that movie was all bright and colorful, but you don't know what happened. Like, the guy threw a manhole cover at this guy's face. Like, you could just say Paul Giamatti's Rhino straight up died there.
I love it. I love that you're painting a picture where we go back to the TASM-verse and he's become Snyder's version of Spider-Man, just killing people.
Exactly.
Dude, you bring back Garfield with the grizzly beard he has in real life.
Exactly.
I am all in for this.
Trying to make him Last Stand Spider-Man?
Yes. Why not?
This is gold. This is great.
Like, you can make Electro really dark and edgy. Like, you kind of like, I said that on Twitter a minute ago. Take him in like a Molecule Man route. Like, what's a being of pure energy like?
Yeah.
Like, what's that do to your brain? Like, make him go batshit and like he doesn't know what he is or where he is. Like, he's a bit snapped. He's a bit darker.
Yeah. Because if I remember, whenever a character like that is made of or gets turned into pure energy, most of the times they end up going crazy because they can't do the things that they used to do.
Right.
Can you imagine a dark Jamie Foxx walking about with the Electro theme playing?
And this is the one thing that I want people to understand. Like, I like what they were going for with his Electro. I just don't like the execution and the way they built it up, because Jamie Foxx is a goddamn phenomenal actor. And
he's an Oscar winner.
Yeah. Like,
no, you don't get that for nothing.
And that's the thing, like, the way they treated his character, it wasn't his fault. Again, it's a script situation, and I'm glad he's going to get to redeem that and be involved with this bigger thing and, see his character evolve and how far he's come and what is even happening with him.
Jamie Foxx is all you hear was Chick-Ching.
Yeah, well, legit.
But yeah, like, going back to like Jamie Foxx as Electro, like, I want him to try and tackle with the daily struggles with being probably pure energy being, because like you could just be walking down the street and try to eat something, but he doesn't need to eat anymore. He could try and sleep and hasn't slept for a week because he doesn't need to sleep anymore.
So let me ask this one: do you think that he's now going to become a member of like the Sinister Six they're setting up?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Like, that is huge. Like, not gonna lie.
Sony want their Sinister Six, and we're gonna get it one way or another. Why not play about with multiverse characters? And
the thing with it now is, like, even if you were like, wow, it's Sony's version. No. Kevin Feige has hands on now. Like, I'm all in for it now. If it's like, gonna be treated with respect for all things considered. Like,
let's give him the starfish mask. But it's made out of himself. Like, it's not actually. It's attached. It's not like an actual.
That was like it's made out of energy. Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they could also go the route where they're like, look, your energy's so all over the place. We made you like a containment suit, and it has that on it. Like, you could cheese it in there. Like, I could see a.
I mean, sure. Why not? At this point, like, you're getting a cheesy as hell character in there anyway. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how in the living hell does he get there?
That's like the biggest one. Like, I'm trying to think of scenarios. I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's a tough one, right?
It's like, let's be honest, like, Wanda's screwing some stuff up.
Yeah, that's like, to me personally, that's probably like the easiest route is to use Wanda. And just like, she's just messing with the multiverse or picking things from multiple multiverses and putting them into her own.
It's like, there's so many pieces laid out that we know. We know Evan Peters is in WandaVision.
Right.
It was never stated he's Quicksilver.
Right, which that's the thing. Like, when I look at Spider-Man, right? I mean, Kevin Feige, if you go back to what he said Spider-Man is a multiverse character. Like, I feel like that was Feige just, again, doing the lie between his teeth and smile, but tell you the truth. Because that's what it seems like to me, again. Like, I don't know what else it could be, really. It's
got to be, there's too much with the multiverse going on in, like, just the start of Phase 4 alone. Like, there's too much multiverse stuff going on.
Right.
So we've got a Spider-Verse movie. We know that thing exists. We know Tom Holland was going to be in that movie. We know they wanted Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in that movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing multiverse, you might as well play a battle with the Spider bit.
I mean, I'm convinced now that Kevin Feige talked him down off that ledge and said, let us help you build that so it's not wasted. I am 100% convinced that now, because Sony wanted it so bad. And if they want it, they just do it. They don't care about the consequences. So,
because everything that Spider-Man's done in the MCU so far is pretty much what Sony wanted. It's just Marvel doing it their way.
Yep.
So, we're clearly building the Sinister Six. Let's do that. Oh, you're going to do Vulture in Spider-Man 4? Or here's Vulture in our first one. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're going to do Mysterio in Spider-Man, the Raimi one? Well, let's do Mysterio now.
Right. And if you look at it, it's like, oh, what else were you planning? They're like, well, we were going to do this. And Marvel Studios are like, okay, and we're going to cast a diverse cast of, friends for Peter. We were afraid to do it for TASM. And Marvel's like, we'll do it, whatever. Like, so it is an interesting position for them, again, because this raises a lot of questions about how just you balance everything and how you do it and how you treat it. And I think that's kind of the most interesting one, because bringing back Jamie Foxx, I think that's a pretty significant step in that they're trying to fix their wrongs from before. Like,
kind of, yeah. It's also a question of why that character exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just going purely out on the limb here. I assume it is because he's the easiest one, because electrical current, cool. Well, that's easily transferred. Wanda's in a sitcom reality. Like, we're using a TV effect where Monica gets pushed out. Cool, Electro can come in that way. Just say that every electrical current in the multiverse is connected or something.
Right. I mean, why not? And
just you haven't got overcomplicated it like that. You can just make it really simple. But
yeah, I mean, it's like you just do it like with that TV thing. She gets pushed out. Electro was watching TV as that happened. He gets sucked in.
Yeah. If people are accepting the fact that that's how she gets her powers, it's like, well, I don't see how that works. But hey, if people are accepting that, make it Electro coming out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's literally in a TV show. TV runs on electricity.
Right.
So making that connection is probably not too far of a stretch.
Right, and again, like, the thing they could deal with is, like, we don't know the full consequences of what happened with, the decimation and the blip. So you could technically tie that in as well, because you could say that things were muddled up in, some sort of transfer or whatever the hell you want. Like, obviously, don't have a good way to explain it, but, like, that's an easy connection as well to make in there and just be like, well, that's what happened, right? And, like, you just transition it over easy, and it's one of those scenarios where the explanation is so easy that the goddamn CW was able to do it, so why can't anybody else? Like, it's easy, I would assume.
I'd say you can make a really overly complicated reason really simple.
Exactly.
It's like, here's one line explaining that you can piece the rest from that one line.
Yeah. And that's got to be the key and goal of it, I would assume, because that's the way you have to treat it. So, with that, hopefully we get more on this soon, but hey, we'll see how this all works. With the whole Electro joining the MCU, the Spider-Verse, more or less a live-action version confirmed, everything connecting between, like, Spider-Man, Morbius now, Venom, whatever has, in store for the future. And then we go back to that old story we covered earlier in the year where Evan Peters was cast for WandaVision. We were all like, well, he could be Quicksilver, but probably not. I mean, he's probably Quicksilver, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I'm going to go back to what I said back then. I think the contract stipulated something had to happen, and they're just like, this is how we're going to work some of these contracts that were locked into a certain thing, because I'm assuming some of these payouts or holds on contracts that they signed were so in favor of some of these actors that if they didn't use them, it would just it would like wreck whatever ideas they have. So there's like,
would Evan Peters have something like that?
I mean, he's been tied in with like Fox and what they were doing with American Horror Story since season 1. They bent over backwards to get him back for some seasons. So I could see him specifically being that, because they really loved working with him. Like every time you looked at it, like he was their Tom Holland for Fox. That's what essentially they were doing with him. So
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So, is he gonna be Peter or is he gonna be Pietro? Do we just go like, right, he's not the Fox Quicksilver. We're going to make him look a bit more like Aaron Taylor Johnson did. Call him Pietro. You have your wink and a nod to the Fox movies that people liked and the Quicksilver people liked. But he's not that Quicksilver. And you do it that because they don't want the Fox stuff. They hate that.
Yeah.
They despise that with everything they got. But if we can make just this one little bit work, like he hasn't got to have a big role, you know, for all we know, she's pulling Pietro's out of different realities and just killing them all up because it's not hers.
Right.
Something like that, I don't know. But, or maybe he sticks around and he is the new Pietro going forward.
I mean, that could happen. Like, and that's the thing that's kind of like the big question mark here. And when I really started thinking about it, I'm looking at this whole multiverse idea. And the moment you kind of think about it, you're like, okay, so if you're going to connect anything X-Men, maybe this is your way to do it, is the Speedster, right? And it is Quicksilver, and people have wanted that character back. And maybe we end up with some sort of amalgam. And I would be okay with that because, again, we're dealing with the multiverse, and who knows? For all we know, we could find out that in Wanda's head, maybe she lived an entire lifetime in that universe, and that was her Quicksilver. She's like, oh. Like, I mean, we don't know how far the story's going to go. So there is a story explanation you could give it that does actually make sense, which I think could work.
The question is, right, it's obviously all hypothetical. Hypothetically, he is Pietro.
Yeah.
Right. Do they make him a mutant? Or do they keep him a mutant and they make Wanda one? Because I'd rather not have Wanda be a mutant because it wouldn't make sense in what we've got. I know people want the Magneto relationship, but that's not gonna.
Honestly, I'd be cool if they kept him a mutant. Whatever.
Say in this multiverse they were mutants and not miracles or experiments.
Yeah, exactly. And then
I suppose they've got Bova in that trailer for crying out loud. They can reference every single origin they've had and say it's all multiverse stuff. Well, I'd be fine, I suppose. Do it that way.
Yeah, that is the situation you go with. Like, you're running into so many things now, and if we look at the future, because we have Multiverse of Madness, we have WandaVision, we have Loki, we're going to have Kang the Conqueror, again, messing with time and things, and over on the Fox side of things, they've been messing with god damn, they've been messing with time since the first X-Men movie, because nothing makes sense past that one with
maybe
continuity.
That's the catalyst, that she pulls a piece out of the Fox universe, and because that continuity is so all over the place, it just, like, repercussions just crumble throughout everything else.
I mean, that would honestly be a funny way to reference it, but then when Deadpool shows up, like, and it's Ryan Reynolds, we're like, all right, that kind of makes sense. And if you really start thinking about it, once you add the whole combo of the Spider-Verse into everything, I mean, you're really not holding anything back. Like, it's all cracked open.
Literally everything's open right now.
Yeah.
Everything's open. It doesn't matter.
They're in a good position now to really tackle that multiverse in so many ways. And what I want to know is if they're going to go that far into it, right? I mean, it's a given. We're getting all the live-action Spider-Man on screen together. We're going to get... probably down the road, we're getting a few X-Men as well. I would not be surprised if... Honestly, I'm not going to be surprised at all if we hear that Hugh Jackman's going to reprise Wolverine one more time. I'm just...
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised. But like, they're actually they're not the actual X-Men, the Fox ones. They're the ones that wear the suit and actually
yeah.
X-Men.
Exactly. They're actual X-Men.
But if that's the case, and since like Marvel's obviously got a couple of stuff they can go back and make canon and whatnot, but for a lot of those are old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like you could get a new Captain America from the '90s in where he has that plastic shield and visor. But obviously not with that actor because that dude's gonna be like 80.
No, no motorbike, no.
I mean, they referenced it in Winter Soldier where he steals a car.
Yeah,
I think Cap in every single movie so far has stolen a car. So.
I mean, do they reference the so terribly low budget Doctor Strange movie that looked like a porn parody from like the 70s?
Yes, we get we get the Corman's Fantastic Four in there.
Still the best live action Fantastic Four. Can't discount it.
Unfortunately, yeah. But what I'd like, because they haven't got a ton of that stuff, you've already referenced like Lou Ferrigno, like the old Thor, maybe a bit too old. Like, why don't they just get everyone that were on the casting shortlists back for that role? So we can have a universe where Tom Cruise is Iron Man, Krasinski's Cap, and Charlie Hunnam's Thor.
Honestly, I think they probably will.
And you get like, was it Emily Blunt back for Black Widow? Because then you're not taking them the possibility of having like Krasinski and Blunt as like Mr. Fantastic and Sue away from the core timeline, but you're just referencing stuff from before. So hey, like, here's a universe where Tom Hiddleston was Thor, and you play that.
I think they will do something like that. Honestly, like I do fully believe some crazy thing like that will happen. That's gonna like just be like, wait, what? Like,
because you've heard that there's gonna be versions of characters we haven't seen before in Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Or versions of characters we know that aren't like, and we all know it's gonna be Iron Man. Like they're not gonna have Iron Man.
Yep.
He might be dead, but he's still kicking around somewhere.
Oh yeah. Right. No, you don't do away without. Come on, like that wouldn't make sense. So that is a thing that I think they could introduce in this. And again, if they follow that route, right, the best part is like again they can acknowledge all this exists and just be like, oh yeah, what of it? Is this not acceptable? Like they can just play with it, right? Like it's
the multiverse. Like why care?
Yeah.
Like literally anything can happen in this thing.
Yep. And it's kind of a cool way to think about it now, since everything is going to go in that direction of a more multiverse future. So I think we're all pretty much excited, I would say. I mean, this news with Spider-Man and then connecting all the dots does make sense. They're looking to really shake up everything. So.
And it shows you that this multiverse stuff isn't just limited to 3 things they've announced.
Yeah.
Because we knew before as WandaVision, Loki, that's going to tie into Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. But no, whatever Wanda does in that show is just blowing the door wide open. And poor Stephen Strange.
I mean, Kevin Feige did say the Marvel shows would end up being the most important pieces as well. So
yeah, it's true.
She basically does House of M for the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, it's referenced in the trailer. The wine bottles, like House of M something. I can't remember what it says, but it's essentially House of M.
It's like House of Contempt, I believe, or something like that.
It might be. I just remember the second word or the last word starts with the M. Is literally House of something.
Yeah.
But I can't remember exactly.
Can we though? Can everything come down to end on WandaVision with her sitting with Pietro at the old Friends Cafe, like Dark Phoenix? Oh. Can that happen? No? All right, good.
For some reason, you mentioned that old cafe earlier on the other podcast, but my brain just then went straight to the show Friends Cafe, and I was like, why Central Perk? Like, what was that doing? Right.
I wonder if like Wanda could be one of the factors to inadvertently start off mutants.
A lot of people have thought that. I mean, she very well possibly could.
Yeah.
But it's how I don't know, but
I'm just thinking because I'm trying to remember the House of M because there's a lot of stuff that happened to that, and clearly like some bad stuff that happened to Peter. He was he was praised as being a celebrity mutant, and then people found out he was just a super enhanced human, and then they hated him.
He's just a mutant. So House of M was a weird story for one because it was about everyone but her. And then they treated it like crap, and it's just like, why? Like, why does everyone want that story for her? It's horrible.
Yeah.
But You know, it's you could do like it plays up on that old line from Vision where he says like, you know, they'll fear you. It's like they'll always fear you, and you can make it so she kind of snaps to make everyone like her to take away that fear. You can play it off that way.
That'd be pretty awesome.
But even then, it's like, are they mutants? Or you could just say she activated the X gene in people and play it off like that. But I think there's going to be some connection.
It could be like that because even like she was looking through the multiverse, saw one instance of mutants and made the X gene activate into her universe as people.
Yeah, because we know it's going to be in there because of Eternals.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But then you're activating that thing before it's been set up. But I suppose you can always retcon the reveal in afterwards. But I don't know. They'll do something with that. I'm sure of it. They're not just going to leave that out.
No, because they've literally gone back to the tiniest little leftover like threads and plot elements to explain
it's like
them.
if we're referencing cow people in Underground Mountain, then Christ, they're gonna do whatever they want.
Especially what happened to those cow people.
That means Counter Earth exists. We can get cow people of Avengers.
Yes, do it like the old Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon where there's giraffes riding around on floating cars. I want that.
Have like Cap as a lion.
Yes.
And that sort of stuff.
Yes.
It's like, so you want Venom in a in a truck honking at Spider-Man while they're going to Counter Earth.
I mean, why not? Just do it. Just do it.
If we left this all up to Sony, we would have had this 15 years ago. So
yeah. So what you've got to do to have that happen is just have Tom Hardy driving a van and then the symbiote takes over. Like, it's not a difficult thing to slip in there. And
he does look sweaty most of the time. He's on the set of Venom and Venom 2, so it's like, yeah, that's easy. He just looks real agitated.
No, he's already eaten a chocolate lobster. Like, what's honking a horn? No. You can't get much lower, to be honest.
At least we'll get, like, if it does happen, we'll get a continuation of Counter Earth, and Pokemon won't be its downfall this time.
That's true. Well, there we go with the multiverse. Everybody, let us know how you think they'll do it and what that has brought us to the end of this Rogue One alarm style podcast. It's pretty good episode, hopefully. Like I said, this is coming in before the main show, so if we don't reference anything Spider-Man in the main show that happened, it's because of this. We recorded them out of order.
Wanda broke the timeline, so it's coming out.
That actually, technically that's true though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
See, we now get an MCU in real life. That's Feige's endgame.
Oh, wow. He's been playing the long con for a while.
Yep. He's had to get Robert Downey Jr. out of the way first.
He costs too much.
See, that's why you had the Chris Evans dick pic online. Like, that was when the serum started taking effect, and it was just the first thing it went to.
Oh, damn. There we go.
You took the blue pill.
Thank you everybody for joining us, and we will return on Saturday with the normal scheduled show, and then next week, and hopefully there's more big breaking news. New York Comic Con, the digital event, is right around the corner, but who knows if anything will happen there? Probably not. It'll
be Hawkeye and Moon Knight this month.
There we go. Good. So we'll talk about those eventually.